Train the muscles, not the joints. Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and today I'm going to talk to you about some body parts that I rarely train. And there's two main ones that I get asked about all the time. People say, Jason, what do you do for abs and what do you do for forearms? Because I always get that, because my forearms are one of my best body parts, and it's just genetic mainly. But the reason why I don't train my forearms is because I grip a lot of heavy dumbbells. And when I grip heavy dumbbells, I get a lot of forearm work where other people might not get the forearm work that they feel they need from doing that. But I seem to get a lot of activation in the actual forearm. So especially when I'm doing bent over dumbbell rows with 120s or 140s, I find my grip gives out. And a lot of times I'll do a set or two with heavy back, and then I'll work with wrist wraps after that. So that's why I don't really use wrist wraps a lot. I only use the wrist wraps when I feel like my grip is giving out way before my back can. So that's why I use the wrist wraps, to make sure that my back is actually hitting failure. Because remember, the failure principle, right? It's like whatever hits failure is actually what's going to adapt. So the first set or two, I won't use any wrist wraps, but then once I feel like my grip is giving out way before my back does, then I will change to wrist wraps. But I do get a lot of forearm work just from gripping weight. I always have. I remember when I first went into the gym when I was a kid, I was about 16 years old or so, 15 years old. I was down at the leisure center and I started doing lat pull downs, and I found that gripping the bar, gripping the pull down, I was getting like such an intense forearm burn from it. And I'm looking at my friends, they weren't getting the same forearm burn, but my forearms are just burning. And that's really how I developed my forearms. My brother's the same way. My brother has good forearm development too. And I remember when he was doing martial arts, just karate, he was fighting in karate tournaments all the time and stuff like that. And he dieted down basically because he was doing so much cardio, and he stopped weight training for a period of time. And he was just doing constant cardio, and he was down to 160 pounds, and he was just at fighting weight. And the bottom line is that everybody's calling him Popeye because his forearms were just like still the same size, even though his body had shrunk down a bit. So that's one of the reasons why I don't train forearms. Now, the reason why I don't train abs that often, although I have trained abs in the past, and I do feel like training abs is still an effective thing, and I think it's a good thing to increase your strength of your core and everything. So I'm not averse to it. It's just that for me, I found that doing heavy tricep press downs, I get some ab development from that, as well as when I'm doing squats or bent over rows or Romanian deadlifts, I suck that stomach in and suck the core in, and I use my core in order to stabilize the spine as I'm doing those movements. So I find I get a lot of ab work that way. So instead of fatiguing my abs before I go to do squats or before I go to do those heavy compounds, I find it's better to save the strength to make sure that my spine is properly stabilized. Where I've seen some people train abs too much or strain their psoas muscles sometimes by doing too much plank work or heavy Roman chair sit-ups, or lots of different things that people do, maybe leg lifts and stuff like that, and sometimes they strain their psoas or they spasm that puppy up. And then when they go to do a main compound like a squat or deadlift, then they tweak their back because they've already kind of fatigued the core, right? So I want to make sure my core is fresh every time I hit that squat rack or every time I hit some sort of major lift, because remember, you want your spine to be stabilized properly, and if it doesn't stabilize properly, then you're going to have an injury. So if you feel that you need to train your abs because you have a hyper arch to your lower back, then I actually understand that, because in this particular case, you might need to strengthen up those abs to make sure that the spine is in the proper position. So it does also depend on your own individual needs. So I'm by no means saying you don't train abs. I'm just saying the reason why I don't is that I found that my back was more fresh and was able to stabilize better when I wasn't training abs individually of my leg workouts and bent over row workouts and stuff. But from time to time, I will do some lower abs. I will, lay down on my back, bend the knees at 90 degrees, let my knees fall out more to the side, so that way I'm not using my hip flexors, and then I will round the bum up in order to actually hit those lower abs. So I may do that from time to time, but it's not my main focus. I find that I get more than enough ab workout just from my standard sort of training, because this is a constant question you always get: how to get abs. A lot of people don't realize training the abs doesn't make you get abs. A lot of times it's just a fat loss issue. If you're holding on to body fat, then your abs won't show. But I've seen lots of guys not train abs, and as soon as they get to a leaner body weight, voila, they're the abs, right? So if you want your abs to show, basically your diet and your body fat percentage is the first and foremost thing that has to be in alignment with that goal, right? So just training abs, yeah, it may help thicken up those muscles a bit. It may help them pop a bit. It may help some more blood flow to the area. It may help a lot of things. There might be a lot of benefits, but you don't necessarily have to train abs in order to get abs to show. That's more a body fat percentage issue. So yeah, that's why I don't train forearms, and that's why I don't train abs mainly. Yeah, I hope that answers your questions, because I do get this question quite a bit. So I just wanted to answer this and bring light to the situation. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope this helps you out in your training. And if you need to get hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com. And thanks to the patron supporters, and take care for now.